Well, I was test driving the truck, just making sure that the brakes and wheel bearings were okay and the mile marker manual hubs were working fine. And I was driving by a house and saw some stuff sitting on the curb and figured I'd talk to the owner and see if I could pick it up. And most of it's no big deal. Most of it's stuff I'm going to just take to the Goodwill or something like that. Instead of these TVs being destroyed, maybe somebody can use them. So looks like a Shadow Mask CRT Admiral TV and maybe a flat screen Trinitron type CRT Philips TV. But what caught my eye was this thing. And this is a, I want to say 40s era RCA Victor monophonic shortwave radio / phonograph. I'm not sure if it's all there or not. There's a close-up of it, or the label anyway. But anyway, I got so excited I didn't even turn the engine off. I just want to, let me get this stuff out of the truck and everything and get that thing flipped back up, and we'll see more about it. I've also got these records that came with it, and wow, some of these records look really old. Kind of curious to see what they are, but let me get this stuff out and I'll show you more details about that unit there. Well, here it is inside the house, all safe and sound, because I think we're supposed to get some bad weather tomorrow. Be colder and a lot more rainy. It's kind of unique. I haven't seen this kind of emblem before on the speaker grill, which is kind of neat. And I was talking to the owner, and she said it's been the family ever since she can remember. Her grandparents bought it new. And it kind of looks like a piece of furniture almost. This part of it here doesn't open. You got a pilot light here, as well as a name. And then what's really cool is that this part opens up to expose the radio, which says RCA Victor, real glass. And looks like it's basically standard broadcast, which back then was what it was called instead of AM, as well as shortwave. And looks like the tuner still works on it. Some of these controls seem pretty hard to move, but they are moving. I think that'll clean up real nicely. It's kind of cool the way this thing opens up like that. Found out by accident actually when I was moving it around, because it came open on me. I really just thought this was a phonograph. This part here doesn't open up, but this part does, to expose the phonograph. And it's even got a record still on here. These are weird looking records. It doesn't look like a, it's obviously not a 45 and it's not a 78. And it's very hard, extremely hard. I haven't heard of these people before. That looks like it's rust, but it's actually velvet. That seems to be in good shape. I think the record remaining on there kept it in good shape. And the stylus just kind of rests on that piece there. It's kind of spring-loaded. I just brought this into the house. I have no idea the history of this thing or how it operates. And then this thing goes up and down. I'm not sure what that does either. But she says it doesn't work. The whole thing doesn't work, which is kind of to be expected. And then here's the back of it. It's kind of missing the protective backing, which kind of looks like this kind of stuff. But the best thing about it is it still looks like it has some of the information on the back. Trying to shine a light on it here. If anybody watching this knows anything about these things, leave something below in the comments, because I'm not sure how rare this thing is. This one down here says, "It's to certify that this instrument includes the matched elements required in the production of golden throat tone, signed by the chief engineer, Home Instrument Department." And looks like the speaker came loose, but it does look like the mounting points are still there, except for maybe the one on the bottom. And it does look like it has the little bit of information about it. Tube complement. This is a model 77V2. So it looks like I might be able to get this working if I can source the tubes. Oops, I can't focus. It looks like all the electronics are still there, all the tubes are still there. If nothing else, if I play around with it long enough, I can probably get the radio portion working. The phonograph's got a lot of rust on the underside of it. Sorry about the lighting. I really have nowhere else to put this thing. This is kind of a spur-of-the-moment video anyway. But for the most part, this thing seems to be all here. This part here and here is broken. It was broken when I got it. It was, well, I think this is the built-in antenna. 77V2. If anybody knows anything about that, leave something in the comments. Here's the antenna that broke off. And there's the other piece of it, unfortunately. You can kind of, if I get this turned around the right way, you can kind of make out some of the writing on it. So this thing is not in the best of shape, but when I was riding by in the truck, I figured, I mean, it just caught my eye. It's a kind of an interesting piece of furniture. Or at least I thought it was a piece of furniture when I first looked at it, but then I saw the speaker grill and I'm like, that's no piece of furniture. That required further investigation, of course. And then here's this box of records. There are just tons of these records, all of the same kind, this weird size. Decca Records, Small Fry by Bing Crosby. Then you got just, it goes down to infinity down in there. There's just tons of them. I'm not really ready yet to go digging into them, but there's probably, gosh, about 100 records in there. So I'm not sure what I'll do with this thing. I've got so much stuff going on. I'm not really sure if I have time to mess with it, but I might just get an inkling when the weather's really bad outside to go ahead and try to restore it, or do a partial restoration, or at least get this radio portion working. It won't be any time soon though. I've got a lot more work to do on the truck still, and of course I gotta keep finish tearing up the Crown Victoria so I can get the wrecked one out of here. But stay tuned. In a few months maybe, I'm not sure when, I might be able to get around to this, and you might see that pilot light light up for the first time in God knows how long.